So, Masa, we're glad to have you as our esteemed speaker for GTR 2020, Agile Testing Alliance Global Testing Retreat, the 2020 edition. It is the fifth time that we are doing, and we're going to miss you this time as our speaker physically present because this is a virtual one. You have been kind enough for traveling for last few or many, I would say, GTRs and other conferences that we have done. You have been one of our biggest supporter, and it's a real pleasure to have you with us. Guys, please welcome Masa with us, and we're really glad to have Masa. By the way, just to let you guys know, Masa is an agile coach with UST Global, but he's a founder and a director for Value Innova. He's a steering committee member for Agile Testing Alliance and DevOps Plus Alliance. He is a coach for, and basically a licensed coach with Xscale. And he's basically one of the most innovating person in the area of lean Kanban. There are so many things that we are all inspired by what Masa does. So please welcome and thank you so much, Masa, for accepting for being our speaker. But having said that, can we ask you to say a few things about what would be your intention of talking about a specific topic in GTR? And if you haven't thought about it, that's okay. But if you have certain things decided, that would be great to hear.
Thank you so much, Aditya. You're very kind with your introduction. It is a pleasure for me to be part of the retreat. I have been there several times, and it has always been an amazing experience. I wouldn't miss it for the world. And even though this is online, which obviously implies that I will miss the fabulous, the environment, the people, the atmosphere of the retreat in itself, I'm sure that the online event is going to be very successful. The regrettable part for me is India is one of my favorite countries. I totally love, the whole experience of being there. So that's the only part that I will be missing a little bit. Other than that, I'm just really, really happy to be here. So anyway, that said, in terms of what topic to bring, there were several suggestions as to which topics I could present. And the retreat is going to be such that I think is going to provide a space to talk a little bit more on the soft side of things rather than trying to bring something innovative. So the talk is going to be focused towards personal experience as a coach in terms of in what way or what can we as coaches do to be able to provide a higher amount of value that goes beyond the practices, but more towards the human side of what agility and transformation is.
Awesome. I think that would be really awesome because see, we do really get inspired by whatever you do. In fact, in one of the GTR, you just came and you actually suggested us that the way that we were distributing our ID cards, you just changed the line and there was no queue. So I think that those kind of experiences, the way that you coach and mentor and you share your experiences with our audience would be amazing. Can I ask you a little different question? I think people will be, I don't want to basically ask you more questions on the topic. Let people hear when they see you and then when they meet you. Let us go little to on tangent on our discussion here. Is that okay? Can I spend a few minutes with you, Masa, here?
Yes, please go ahead.
Sure. So obviously, we love you here, Masa, and we know that you have been traveling all around the world and you have traveled to India a lot. What is one food item that you really love and that would basically make you remind of India? Is there anything specific that comes to your mind?
Yeah, so that's one of the hardest questions anybody could ask me because, I mean, with all honesty, Indian food is one of my favorite. Actually, I would say is my number two. My favorite food, my number one favorite food is Japanese food, and in good part because I'm of Japanese descent. But Indian food is just so amazing that I totally love it. So that said, being this a hard question to answer, the one that comes into mind is korma. And just the mixture of flavors. Throughout my life, I have been gradually becoming more and more closer to being a vegetarian than not. So it's actually almost all the time I eat those vegetables. So I would say, that the vegetable korma with the recipe is just amazing. So,
Oh, yeah, I think you're talking about Navratan korma, which has got paneer and cottage cheese in it, right? Is that something that comes to your mind?
and that
Wow.
with garlic naan, wow. You just, I just feel like going right now to get some.
Great stuff, Masa. And do you cook, by the way? Any chance that you could cook any Japanese or any other dishes?
Yes, I do. Most of what I cook is not traditional Japanese food. I do my own stuff. I just like inventing stuff, but it has a very strong influence from Japanese food. Now, interestingly enough, this is something that maybe not everybody knows, but in Japan, curry is very popular, and it has its own style. It's not Indian style; it's a little different. But it's very good. And basically, usually they just put carrots, onions, potatoes, and interestingly enough, also apple. And it tastes
Wow.
really, really good. So anyway, so I like mixing, and then not a week goes by without me also preparing something with Indian food. So I go to the store and I get some Indian ingredients, and I try to, of course, nothing close to the real thing, but I do my best.
No, no, great. Awesome, Masa. So we do know that you trek a lot, you run a lot, maybe walk a lot. How do you? But I think on a regular basis, how do you maintain your so very good health, Masa? How do you basically keep it so good and energetic? I've always seen you whenever you're in the conference. You can spend the entire day, and Masa will remain what he came at morning 8 o'clock till maybe midnight. So how do you maintain that kind of agility in real life?
Um, well, so the most important part is the mindset. I was very lucky throughout my life. So it's a combination of several things, but let me try to enumerate. Number one is the mindset. I started doing martial arts when I was 6 years old. And actually, this is a martial art that I practice every day, every single day. I
Wow.
practice martial art. It's not physical. It's not about kicking and all that. It's a very soft martial art that focuses on energy and meditation. So that's part of it. So there's a lot of meditation included with what I do. The other thing is I love nature. So I don't go to gyms. I go to the forest. And the photo that you see here in the background is a photo that I took recently. So I go out to mountains, forests, rivers a lot, and that's what changes me. And I don't go to sit on a campsite. I actually go as far away as I can from people and just be in the middle of nowhere. And that energy from the forest and the mountains, that's what charges me. In addition to that, almost every morning at 4 a.m. I go jogging. So yeah, so right now, I mean, it's right now it's almost 8 a.m. here. I already woke up, went jogging, took a shower, had breakfast. I did some work already. I even had time to sit and search for a new song to download to my mobile. So
Wow.
an early start is a good start, I think.
Amazing.
And
So
it would,
that would have been my third question. I think that I do understand, and I do know that you wake up very early, and also I also know that you sleep very late. Okay, because many a times I've seen you communicate with me on WhatsApp, which is probably very very late night. Okay, so
yeah.
now considering that your sleep window is maybe few hours, I don't know, how do you manage that?
Yeah, I don't know neither. Is well, something that helps is it's going to look like I am marketing, but the martial art that I practice is one that is called each one, and it's just coincidence that I'm wearing this shirt, really, um, because it focuses on energy. When as you practice this, you are actually getting energy. So what happens is, for example, when we are at the conference and I'm moving around, this martial art is so subtle that I could be like even right now at this very moment, I could be talking to you and I could start doing this martial art and nobody will notice. It is so subtle that nobody will notice. And what I am doing is actually absorbing energy from my surroundings to be able
Wow.
to help myself to be able to keep up with the pace of things. So
I think that would be something that this is for the first time I came to know that you're practicing this.
actually,
Maybe we'll probably request you a session maybe someday,
so
if you
okay,
are okay with
so I
that.
commit to doing this. The next time that we can be together in person at a gathering, let's have an out of schedule or maybe within the schedule session on
Yeah.
this. And whoever comes in, I'll show you a little bit of this martial art.
We have now more than one reason to probably have you here, Masa, and I will not miss that session. Looking forward to that.
It will be my
Yeah. So
pleasure.
now we know the real reason. So
The
I
secret.
was always wondering that how do I ask you this kind of a question, and this is amazing that at least the secret has been spilled out.
Yes, exactly. It has
Great.
been revealed. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was my
If you have time, maybe I'll ask one more question to you. Is that okay?
yes, please. Go ahead.
Yeah. So considering that we are in this COVID situation, many of us are working from home. Do you think this trend will continue? What is your prediction for next few years?
Wow, that's a tough one. Well, I mean, point number one, I worked in the biotech industry for 5.5 years. Actually, my third startup that I was a founding team member we pioneered on proteomics and genomics. So I have at least a basic understanding of how the industry works and how that kind of basic research happens. So I think that obviously with so many laboratories contributing to developing a vaccine, it is more likely that a vaccine is going to be developed sooner rather than later. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be ready tomorrow or next week. This kind of research, particularly because of the trials, can take a while. It can take months or years, and typically it takes years. So that said, and also given that if we look at the statistics, for example, at least here in the US, the number of cases is already increasing again. And it's the same in several countries because we people are not very good at keeping the right discipline that is needed for this kind of situation. So I think there's going to still be a while in which most of the activities are going to be done online, probably for the majority of 2021, if we want to really put this under control, because it's getting out of control again. At the same time, there's a huge benefit from this. There's a Chinese proverb that says that even from the worst thing, something good comes out. And I think that the brilliant lesson about this is that something that a lot of us have been evangelizing for a long time about the importance of being able to take advantage of technology that already exists, or that we have what it takes to develop even much more effective technology for collaboration online is happening. And most importantly, many decision makers think that they used to think that there was no way this could work, because they had the idea that people need to be micromanaged, that they need to be kept on the very close control to do things, because if not, people won't do the work. They will just not do it. And what this is proving is actually the opposite. So what is happening is that people are demonstrating that if they are being trusted, they can actually do more and better. And also, some people, may need, the opportunity to develop that kind of discipline. Maybe they don't have it yet, but this is giving them the opportunity to develop that kind of discipline. So this is great. I mean, there are many companies that are already reporting huge benefits from people working remote, and people working remote also the benefit of, less commute time, more time with the family, less stress, and so on. So there's a lot of benefit behind it. So I think that what this is going to boil down to, once we go through the pandemic, is that there's going to be a hybrid. I think most people are going to be working percentage of the time online and then a percentage of the time at work. But it's also going to allow some people to be probably in the middle of, I don't know, Antarctica. just
Yeah.
I don't mean sea level in Antarctica, but they can be in a place that is very remote, and they don't have to be physically close to their office. I mean, they could still be doing their work. Or they could be working for multiple, clients or companies, and be, across the planet. So I think that it is going to be an amazing, development, socially, culturally, and economically.
Yeah, Masa, very nice. I think that is very true. In fact, I completely agree. So I'm hoping that we can actually get a chance to maybe work remotely for some of the opportunities that may be coming out of there. That may be another advantage. We don't have to get basically wait for visas or travel down, and maybe there are other opportunities that can happen like that.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Definitely.
All right. So I think it is, I can continue conversation with you, Masa, for maybe as long as we want. There's so many other things that we want to discuss, but we are definitely going to miss your physical presence. And I'm going to basically wait for the time that we can actually do a physical one and get you back to India. So with that, I would like to thank you for your time. It was really awesome to have a small chit chat, especially so early in the morning for you. Thank you so much for waking up early anyways, and spending some precious time in that morning slot for us. Thanks a lot, Masa.
Thank you so much.